Okay, we got the Bludotone amplifier here going across. How sweet it is. Alright, now the other side of that. Here you have the FET input, and there's the FET board there going down to the other input, but I mean, it's just phenomenal workmanship. You've got the relays that are along here for the channel switching, and I think it's true bypass for that middle position on the tone bypass thing on the front. And you see this nice bus going on, that's pretty standard. So, and he's got all the capacitors are kind of like blueprinted and marked here, which is pretty awesome. This guy's definitely a man of detail. Now there's sort of like a bias trim pot, I believe, for the cathodes of the second tube. Then going along, you hit the phase inverter here with those triangle resistors, and you got the big fat caps, and that looks like the bias pot, and your presence cap down there, and you've got the beautiful 47 microfarad filter caps down there with the bleeder resistors, or the evening resistors, and you got the big fat 220 microfarad power caps there going from the transformer and wherever those diodes are. So, and you've got the 1K power resistors here. I guess the diodes are back there. It looks like it's probably DC on the heaters, which I would hope. I mean, it didn't seem to be too much hum. Johnny just got this amp today, so these are the solid core wire for the heaters coming along, and yeah, they go actually to the, here is the green from the power transformer. So it looks to me that actually there is not DC filaments, which I mean might be might have been a nice thing to have. Where are the 100K resist to 100K balancing resistors? Who knows? But you'd think they would be around. Oh, here they are, right there. Now what you could do is lift that and insert some of the DC from over here, and you will get a way quieter amp, and all that hush, that hiss, and any of that hum you hear will disappear, and you'll be like having to double check, see if your amp is on. So, I mean, it's still amazing.
You would just
you
run.
lift those two and you inject like 70 volts DC into those that pair of resistors, which balances these wires. These two wires go to the heaters, and it's the exact same as these guys, which are smaller. So that's just a injecting DC into the heater kind of mod. It's very easy to do. But anyways, it's, your amp is fine as it is, but I mean that's just really splitting hairs, because the quality is so good that you've got a very bearable level of noise. So, and then yeah, coming back here, it's kind of cool. Here's the first preamp tube. The single actually comes in from over the jack and then tucks right down through here and zips in to pin number 7, etc., etc. That's the first stage. And then it goes on the other side is the pin 1, 2, 3. So for here you could sub in those other tubes, like the 12AY7, the T7, or the 12DW7 tube, which would be kind of cool for the preamp circuit. So in that case, if it's a 12 DW7. This would be a 12AX7 half, but the other half would be a lower gain and quieter 12AU7 version. But if you did the Y7, then both of these would be really squeaky clean Fender, very more Fender tones, more like a super reverb. And then for the overdrive section, that's when you want the 12AX7s to flip and just crank it up a level to get the distortion. So that might be an idea, especially if you find that you've got some sweet pedals that you're not using because you have too much distortion as it is. So that's probably something I would do. Here is the foot switch, the multi-pin foot switch, which is this guy back here for the pedal, and then you've got the manual switches in case you don't have the thing plugged in. The single axis is an effects loop there. So if you have a studio preamp, then you probably get away without the dumbulator if it can handle the Hardy send level coming out of there. Otherwise, you could maybe insert like a passive, I don't know, DI box or something. But anyways, so there's the ohmage impedance action for your speaker cabinet. You can simple there, you can't screw that up. And we tried the full and the half power. Half power is usually just a triode. Normally these output tubes are pentodes, and it can convert them to triode mode, which has kind of a slightly different sound. Standby, these guys are down, and then the fuse, slow blow fuse, which is, let's have a look. Hard to say. I think it's a 3 amp. 3 amp, that sounds pretty conservative to me, but it could be. 3 amp slow blow? Yeah, I mean, my Ampegs used to have 6 amp, but those guys were beasts.
Yeah, it says 3 right here.
Oh yeah, 3 amp, okay. There we go. And that's good. So it came stock with Tungsol output tubes. Pretty sweet. I mean, a good name. The newer version, and you've got the phase inverter tube that's next to the outputs that splits it and kind of gives a bit more gain, but the distortion's coming from this tube. So you can, that's the 12AX7 we talked about before on the schematic. And then here, if you want to go toneful, you can go 12A-Y7 or T7. So I mean, if you want just blues levels, Stevie Ray Vaughan levels of distortion only, maybe 12A, maybe just two 12A T7s, or a Y7 and a T7, or yeah, I mean that probably is all you need to do. There is the output transformer, which is pretty wide. That is massive, beautiful. Almost, I don't know what kind that is. And then look at the size of this gargantuan flipping power transformer. I mean, there's the pencil next to it. I mean, it's huge. It's like out of an SVT or something. So always remember, deadly voltages. So whatever you do, don't kiss the amp when it's on. So there we go. That is the Bludo-Drive amplifier by Bludotone Bludo-Drive.